you got me thinking about forever. Got a crush, crush, crush on you. I just wanna be your only crush, crush, crush on you. I'm not the type to keep it in, read it out till you're mine. Let me tell you now, I got a crush, crush, crush on you.
Curry veg. Yeah. Oh wow. Next, I'm going to check out a few household items from Nitori. When I first rented my holiday home in JB, one of the first stores I visited was Nitori. I love that they offer a wide range of products, from kitchen essentials to home accessories and furniture, all of which are affordable and thoughtfully designed. You may have seen some of the products in my vlogs, such as the handy dish drying mat, hand towels, and freezer-safe zipper bags. These products are not just functional, they also fit easily into my home aesthetics because of the earthy colours and minimalist styles. I know Nitori is very popular among Singaporeans and Malaysians, and I'm not surprised. They are Japan's #1 home decor and furnishings brand, known for quality, variety, and accessible pricing. It's practically a one-stop shop for everything we need to make our home comfortable and stylish. First up, if you like your room to smell nice all day, consider these scented dried flowers, which has a few scent variations. It's a good alternative for folks who don't like to burn scented candles at home and prefer something that requires minimal care. Next up is this super handy 10-in-1 kitchen slicer, which I've been eyeing on. It has multiple functions including slicing and grating vegetables in different thickness, plus washing and drying salads using the colander and spinner. The inner lid, colander and bowl are microwave safe, so you can even steam vegetables directly after slicing them. Lastly, I have to show you their most popular electric recliner sofa that comes with USB-C and USB-A charging ports. The material is synthetic leather that's resistant to water and dirt, yet soft and durable like real leather. I like that there's space under the sofa legs for easy cleaning. It's also thoughtful of them to include this cup holder in the center that accommodates mugs with handles. Head down to your nearest Nitori store to check out the items. There are currently 11 offline stores in Malaysia and 5 in Singapore. You can find store information on their website, which I'll link in description below. Of course, you can also shop online and enjoy the convenience of home delivery. Have fun shopping! Extra meat some more. But matcha is the most well stocked, maybe because it will be a bit fake, the flavor. And so, that's a peek into a few typical days for me when I'm in JB. As you can see, my daily expenses varies quite a bit depending on whether I go further out of my neighborhood for errands or shopping. You may have noticed that my food expenses are not exactly lower in JB than in Singapore, and I attribute this to the location of my rental home. I've shared in earlier videos that I chose R&F development due to its proximity to CIQ. But naturally, food establishments in this area tend to price their items at Singapore prices. There are two upsides though. First, I don't have to get out of my neighborhood for days if I wanted, thanks to the mall that's linked to the condo. It's not a huge complex, but it houses a supermarket, 2 drugstores, and a fair variety of food options. My go-to shops are usually the cai peng or chicken rice stalls, where I'm able to enjoy a meal with $3 to $4 budget. Second upside is that I can still enjoy a meal in comfort at restaurants and cafes here with just a slightly higher budget of $7 to $8, something that I won't be able to enjoy in Singapore at the same price point. Of course, if I wanted cheaper and better food options, I can always travel further out of JB Central. But the cost of Grab rides isn't always worthwhile, especially if I get caught in peak hour traffic when returning home. Some have suggested that I consider taking public transport in JB to save cost, but it's a massive trade-off with time. To travel to most places in JB by bus, I would need to walk to the bus interchange at JB Central, which already takes 20 minutes. If you add on time spent waiting and travelling on the bus, I think I'm going to need 45 to 50 minutes just to get to malls like Mid-Valley Southkey, versus 15 minutes via Grab ride. Honestly, this experience has really made me appreciate how efficient Singapore's public transport is. Sure, there are aspects to improve on, especially with the recent spate of breakdowns that makes one question if it can actually accommodate our ever-increasing population. But for the most part, we can still rely on our MRTs and buses to get us around the city at reasonable fares. Besides the daily expenses, my biggest expenses come from rent and utilities. Here's a breakdown of what I pay for rent, Wi-Fi, electricity, and water bills. Are you surprised at how expensive Wi-Fi is in Malaysia? And I'm not even paying for premium plans, okay? My broadband speed is 200 Mbps. But of course, when it comes to electricity and water expenses in JB, Singapore cannot fight lah. I've been splitting my time between Singapore and JB about 50-50, but my bills have never exceeded $20 per month. It helps that my studio feels naturally cool all day, so I don't use the AC very much. I've talked about rent in an earlier vlog, so I won't go into detail again here. One thing is for sure, my rent is considered expensive in JB. I can actually rent a 3-bedroom condo elsewhere with the same amount, but I'll likely have to trade off the convenience of having a mall within walking distance and also the proximity to CIQ. And that's my honest sharing on how much I spend living in JB. Again, it isn't exactly cheaper than living in Singapore, but it makes economic sense in my case as I enjoy privacy and me time in my own space, something that would come at a huge cost if I rented in Singapore. If you found this helpful, let me know what else you would like to see in future videos. Take care and see you at the next video.